For this story today, we are going to Theme Park Insider, an account that I don't know. I'm gonna go over here and look. It's an award-winning theme park journalism and reviews covering Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, Six Flags, and beyond. John at themeparktribune.com. You know, congratulations to you on your awards. I don't know why, but this person has blocked me on X. But we're still going to go to you because you've made an interesting point here. So let's be clear, to quote who I'm assuming is John at Theme Park Tribune. Tom Corless isn't the gatekeeper of who is a Disney Parks fan. His arrogance here is unnecessary. I think there's objectively a lot for fans to be excited out from this D23, but why exclude people who have no personal nostalgia for Dreamfinder or Disneyland People Mover? Was there a People Mover announcement? Maybe we'll get into that for a moment. But as the theme park meta goes deeper here, we have the guy who blocked me and also Pro, I do believe. And he is quote tweeting this account, Jonathan Cooper, who is also, I'm assuming, taking a video from WDWNT. So maybe DWNT is also quoting the D23 Parks panel. Maybe we can get this 5 layers in of internet recycling as we go through this story. Bash, have you seen this video before I start it?
I have heard of it. I haven't actually seen it throughout its, illustrious commentary as provided by Tom Corless. I haven't taken in all the words, but I've seen it around here, so I'm very curious to see what Tom Corless has to say.
Well, Tom is the king of Disney fandom. He decides who lives and dies in the space. So let's hear what he has to say. He does have a unique perspective in the space. I'll give him that.
You are a Disney Parks fan, and you could not find joy or happiness in, it doesn't have to be all 4, could be one of them. The Yeti at Everest being fixed, the return of Dreamfinder and a new, in some way, Journey into Imagination attraction, a new Tomorrowland for Disneyland, or Space Mountain, the original De la Terre à la Lune, from the Earth to the Moon, coming back in Paris. If not one of those 4 things speaks to you, and you were disappointed because none of those 4 things speak to you, you're not in this. You're not one of us. I'm sorry. You're not, because if you are a Disneyland fan, that Tomorrowland news should be earth-shattering. If you are a Walt Disney World fan, either the Yeti, if you're a little younger, the Yeti, if not Dreamfinder and Figment, should be tremendous news for you. And obviously, if you're a Disneyland Paris fan, you got what you always wanted, and I'm very happy for you guys. I'm so excited for you.
Okay, Tom. Okay, wow. Tom. Yeah. Nice gatekeeping there. You are not a true fan if you don't like the things that I like. Is a take. You know, I understand. I understand how someone can have that perspective, but here's my bold take on all of this. Fandoms are not communities. Fandoms are people who enjoy a product. They don't actually have anything to do with each other. You can connect with other people who enjoy a thing, but fandom is not a community. Fandom is its own thing. If I enjoy Fortnite, that doesn't mean that I want to go to Fortnite Fest. If I enjoy Banjo-Kazooie, that doesn't mean I want to go to Banjo Fest and speak about the specific themes that resonate with me. I like Disney and I like talking about Disney a lot, but the Disney community aspect, or the Disney fandom community aspect, I can't find the time for that. Vash, what are your thoughts here on this statement by Corless here on whether or not we need to be one of us, meaning them, I guess? Wow, that sounded threatening, huh? One of them.
One of us. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and preface by saying that, hey, you know what? I've not only met Tom Corless, I've interviewed Tom Corless, and he's a nice enough guy. He just, unfortunately, gets himself into a little bit of trouble, which I think is what happened here. Now, I will say,
passion for something causes people to step on landmines, whether they mean to or not.
Well, I think there's some confusion as well going on. Maybe I don't know if it's purposeful or if it's just accidental, but I think there's very few people actually taking the time to watch the Experiences panel, whether in person or on live stream via Disney Plus, who wouldn't be satisfied or happy or at least look with some intrigue on the announcements listed by Tom Corless. I think that's just kind of preposterous that anybody would go scoff at all of them. That being said, though, there's a little bit of gatekeeping here. I will say, I think Tom might have been referring to the people not exactly thrilled with the Experiences panel, the presentation, that is, because Neil Patrick Harris, I think they gave the reins to him directorially, and I don't think it served the interests of the fans or the presentation or the like. There were some weird skits. Started out with a just bombastic musical number, which was really something. You had humans dressed up as audio-animatronic characters doing dance routines in audio-animatronic form. It's really something. You had a girl with a table, dressed as a table with the Man Leota. It was bizarre.
Interesting. Okay.
And then you had, before every single segment, Neil Patrick Harris doing like an impression of Father, I guess, from the Carousel of Progress, but it wasn't exactly clear, so it just came off as awkward. There were a lot of cringy jokes, a lot of cringy, like tie-ins, like, for example, Gloria Gaynor doing, I'm still alive for the Disco Yeti.
Because the Disco Yeti, yes.
Right. And it's just like, as a fan looking to get information from this, the presentation was very, very lackluster. It was very, very distracting, and it wasn't respectful of the audience's time. I think that's where the negative impression from this specific set of announcements comes from. Not necessarily what was announced, but how it was.
Mm-hmm. There are some aspects that make me go, huh. I do think that Neil Patrick Harris is a very talented performer. Him dressing up as Dreamfinder actually makes me worry that they're actually going to make him Dreamfinder in the ride, which is not something that I want, because it's a
possibility, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But the over reliance on celebrity in the parks right now, like Ellen's Universe of Energy, like I understand there were some people who very much enjoyed that ride, I guess. It's not the version of that ride that I long to go see and experience again. As far as celebrities go, I suppose, Jack Sparrow being in Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, sure. But also they changed the ride intrinsically by making it focused on the character of Jack Sparrow, who's not part of the original. But, you got to get people in there somehow. The only one that I think actually works is probably Captain EO, because that is so very Michael Jackson, but at the same time, it's very limiting. It's very dated, and that's the thing that you are doing. Also, I prefer my Dreamfinder to have a little weight on him. He needs to be a little bit pudgy. He needs to be a jolly Father Christmas-like fellow, and with his crazy Figment Purple Dragon sidekick. Hopefully voiced by Billy Barty. But who is it that does the voice of Figment right now? Is it Jess Harnell?
Oh, I actually don't know. I have to look at my notes here.
Anyway, sorry. Well, we're getting away from the original thesis of this part here, which is what if you feel no joy for this? So we've got Disney that's kind of in shambles, and they're trading on nostalgia, but it's kind of nostalgia in a strange way. So these are all announcements that are specifically geared towards die-hard Disney fans, because Expedition Everest, it's a great ride, regardless of the Yeti, even though the Yeti is the showpiece there. I think that the only reason any Americans would be aware of From the Earth to the Moon in Paris would be most likely the Defunct Land videos, unless you're a diehard, which if you're a diehard, maybe you do watch in the That Park Place audience, and we appreciate you very much. What was the other ones? So you got the Tomorrowland revamp. I can understand why anyone would look at Disney redoing an entire land and say, I don't know if I'm excited about this. Sure. Because of the current state of the Disney company. And what was the other one? The People Mover.
Yeti, I believe. Yeti.
Well, yeah. We did talk about the Yeti, but he threw something in there about the People Mover at Disneyland. And I'm going to say something that may get me in trouble with the Disneyland audience. You haven't had a people mover in Disneyland for many, many, many years. And now I hear people like nostalgic for Rocket Rods, which, or whatever the name of that other ride that was destroying the people mover track.
Oh, yes. 1998. Yeah.
So
debut of the Rocket Rods.
Right. You can have people nostalgic for Aunt Jemima's pancake house that was in the original Disneyland, or original-ish in that era, or the Chicken of the Sea pirate ship that was in Disneyland at some point, or even the famous Wizard of Braz that was on Main Street, USA back in the day. Did I just throw you one that you weren't aware of, Ash?
Oh, no. I'm well aware of it. I just didn't know we were going to bring it up.
Right. The gatekeeping.
It's a very interesting time in Disney history.
Yeah. The gatekeeping that you can do on this, it can go on and on, endless forever. And you can say, oh, well, if you didn't know who C.V. Wood was, you're not really a Disney Parks fan. You're not one of us if you didn't have this specific set of knowledge and this specific nostalgia for this specific thing. I actually think the problem is with Disney right now is that there is a segment of the Disney Parks audience that has media access and wants to tell everyone how to be excited for Disney. And they're only positive about the things that Disney is doing right now. And the things that they have problems with are esoteric and not really things that affect the general audience. Vash, you were going to say something and I kept jabbering on.
No. I completely get it. I completely understand. Dave Goles, by the way, is the current.
Yes, that's perfect for Figment.
Absolutely. No, I when examining the announcements, right? I think you mentioned Tomorrowland. I remember my mother actually hearing the Tomorrowland announcement. Now, of course, we both have been living with Tomorrowland wrecked by the 1998 version for well over 25 years now, and we both have a little trepidation when it comes to the redoing of Tomorrowland, what that entails. But why do we have that opinion? It's because of the recent onslaught of different projects. We're about to actually talk about one involving Epcot, right? And ground lighting. They couldn't even get that right, but look at all they sacrificed for that effect, for like the foundations and a large portion of interventions and etc. So, if you're somebody interested in these parks and products and so forth, right, these experiences, and if you have some hesitation connected to that, it's probably because, well, you're pretty knowledgeable about the track record of the recent Disney company and its recent Imagineering teams. And I think that just, that doesn't not make you a Disney fan. It actually makes you more knowledgeable than a lot of other people. Which is very, very interesting. So there's a little bit of gatekeeping. There's a little bit of no true Scotsman fallacy embedded in there, and that's really kind of unfortunate. I think it's I can understand that Tom would be like, whoa, why is everybody so negative? But going down this path, I think was a mistake.
The only thing I'll say about Tom, and I actually am generally amused by Tom's takes because I'm not insulted by them personally, is Tom does tend to go into, my opinion is the only true opinion and anyone else's opinions are invalidated, as opposed to realizing that he has a unique voice. And there's a great thing about, there's a meme around me. Some people call me Take Jonas when I start talking about certain movie concepts and whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. There's a mistake that people can make to think that everyone needs to have the same opinion as everyone else. And that's where you start to get into a problem. That's where you start to get into, I don't know, the woes of the current Disney company, where they start appealing too much to a very specific demographic that happens to be Tom Corliss's age and is maybe has a certain amount of money. And I'm not saying anything about Tom Corliss's finances at this point. I'm just saying they're going for a specific segment of the market with a specific level of discretionary spending or access to credit, more likely. So this is something where, okay, are these announcements going to get little kids to enjoy Disney so that when they grow up, they're going to enjoy taking their kids to the parks, or are these flash in the pan? I don't know. It'll remain to be seen whether or not these things actually do improve the parks. I do compliment Josh tomorrow on going for that low-hanging fruit and saying, yes, these are the things that we are going to do, and we're going to fix all those things you've been complaining about. This is his let's buy Pixar moment. Let him have it there. And there's something to be said for seeing where the Disney fandom goes from here, because it can't be the current people only. It has to grow to include people who are maybe not impressed by Tony Baxter's original vision for Space Mountain in Discovery Land over there in Paris, as amazing as that ride might be. Bash, you got anything you want to say before we wrap this one up?
Well, I will say, I for one, am very much looking forward to From Earth to the Moon actually being restored, along with that incredible soundtrack right there.
Oh, me too.
I mean, it just sounds and looks awesome. And by the way, credit for T.G. Funkland for bringing that back into the public consciousness the way he did. 2.5 million views and so forth. That does have an effect on all of these things, I will say. But I think more importantly, it does appear that Disney is listening to the fandoms and, looking to, correct the wrongs of previous admins right there. Now, this management team is young. I'll give credit for Disney for addressing some of these issues. How they will certainly impact how we perceive these announcements. And again, if anybody has some trepidation regarding all of that, well, it is warranted.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.